One attacker leaves Ibrox. Could we be seeing one come in to replace him? Well, according to former Hearts midfielder Ryan Stevenson, is going to take a bonkers offer for that to be Shankland. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Football for your daily transfer roundup in the Spfl. Now, still not a lot of transfers happening, still pretty quiet, but I think the big news going around at the moment is Lawrence Shankland. Will he remain a Hearts player? Will he go to Rangers? Will he go to Celtic? Or will he go to England? Hell, maybe he could go further than that. We've seen before that Shankland isn't afraid to go to Europe after his stint in Belgium. Although it wasn't a great stint, he might be afraid to go back there. But the way he's scoring goals at the moment, I think Shankland could go to La Liga and bang in hat-tricks against Real Madrid. That just seems to be the way he is playing right now. But according to Ryan Stevenson, the former Hearts midfielder, Hearts would be crazy to let Shankland go unless they got a mad, crazy, bonkers offer from Rangers for the striker. We know that Rangers are struggling, especially up front. If they're going to take a title fight to Celtic, you feel like they definitely need to do something with their attacking options. They need to sort that out. Lammers, as we know, is gone. Dessers just isn't good enough. Danilo, I don't think is really up to it, and he's injured most of the time, and Roof is literally made of plastic. So you look at Rangers' options up front, they aren't great. Lawrence Shankland would be great, but can Rangers get him? Can Rangers pay the money? Well, let's find out. That's what Ryan Stevenson had to say regarding should Hearts sell and how much money it would take for the deal to happen. Quote, Stephen Naismith will be crossing every finger he's got that his team's chances this season don't suffer an even greater blow as speculation continues to swirl around Lawrence Shankland. The Rangers links don't seem to be shifting, and there's now a list of English clubs reportedly keeping tabs on the Gorgie skipper, including Premier League outfits Burnley, Crystal Palace, Everton and Sheffield United. Put it this way, Stephen knows he can't afford to let his top scorer go this month unless he gets a silly offer, and I'm talking bonkers, mad, mental numbers. We all know Shanks is a Rangers fan, and he'd only be human if his head was turned a little by all the rumours. This is where Naze has to get around to him and ensure he keeps his focus. Naze has to sell him a vision for what he has planned at Tynecastle and hope that keeps him in tune on form. Get it right and the results could be priceless for Hearts. End of quote. So Premier League clubs now interested in Lawrence Shankland, and now it's getting serious. Once you have the Premier League clubs, they can offer the money, and they will offer the money that Celtic Rangers just will not. So I think Shankland, I think he will, it's a matter of time. I think he will leave Hearts. If it's not going to be in January, I think it will be in the summer, especially if he stays till the summer and continues this sort of goal scoring record. Of course, you have the Euros. If he gets picked for the Euros and he has a good performance there, if he bags himself a couple of goals for Scotland, I'm sure that could be adding millions to this guy's price tag. Not if he's been signed by Rangers, but if he's been signed down by a Premier League club in England, then you really could be looking at 10 million plus for Lawrence Shankland. So knowing that, I'm probably more leaning on the side that Shankland's will go. But if there's competition, like I said, from Burnley, Palace, Everton and United, then it's going to be difficult to see Rangers offering the same amount of money they are. Shanks might be a Rangers fan, but Hearts don't care about that. They want the most money they can get. And I doubt Rangers will pay what those other clubs will pay. And how much is a right amount for Lawrence Shankland? Well, you factor in qualifying for Europe next season is approximately worth 6 million. Lawrence Shankland could go a long way in doing that for Hearts. And then you've got cups, you've got the following season because he's got 1 year left on his contract. You've got to factor in shirt sales as well. Shankland selling probably the most shirts at Hearts at the moment. I don't have the numbers for that, but you'd have to assume that he is the highest shirt seller at the club. So I would say 6 million is I think that's very reasonable. If Rangers could get him for 6 million, I think that's a good deal for Rangers. Personally, I think Hearts should be looking for more than that. Like I said, qualify for Europe, you get 6 million guaranteed, and then you just got to factor in the player, the fact he's got 1 year left. I mean, 10 million I think is a reasonable amount. We've seen worse players than Shankland leave Scottish football for a lot more. than 10 million. So yeah, for me, I think Rangers should pay a lot of money for Shankland, but they won't. I think Rangers will probably max out at like 2 or 3 million. I'd be surprised if they paid any more than that. And for me, I think Shanks' best way of getting to Rangers is probably running down his contract. I just don't think Rangers will pay the money. Maybe come the end of the season, once the league's over and done with, Hearts would be willing to sell for less. But right now, when European football is an absolute must and qualify for that for next year, then I think the asking price is too much for Rangers. Speaking of too much for Rangers, Michy Batshuayi is not going to Ibrox. He was touted for a move. Rangers were interested. However, the finances of the loan just cannot be done. He's asking for way too much money. He's on like 4.5 million a year. Rangers aren't prepared to pay it. And I don't blame Rangers. You're taking a big gamble here. Even if you get him on loan and it's not costing any money up front, just the wages that this would require Rangers to pay is insane. And I just don't know. I mean, you look at Aaron Ramsey. They've learnt their lesson, I think, bringing in Premier League players that are probably past their best, past their sell-by date, just overinflated wages that Rangers don't need to pay. So for me, I don't think the Batshuayi move is really worth it. I think there's better strikers out there, cheaper strikers out there. I mean, Rangers could be looking at strikers that they can actually buy and then have a sell-on value later on. So I think, yeah, Batshuayi to Rangers ain't going to happen. I didn't think it was ever really possible, to be honest. It was one of those like left field transfers that just didn't look like it had any sort of legs to it. Speaking of legs, Sam Lammers is moving his legs and he is off. He is away to Serie A on, oh, not Serie A, the Eredivisie, sorry. He joins Utrecht and he is leaving there on loan until the end of the season. And now I think we need to wonder, is that Sam Lammers' Rangers career up? I know it's only a loan move, but Clement really mustn't like this guy. He's in a title fight against Celtic. He's trying to win the league and he's sending out a striker on loan. And there's no value really in that for Rangers. The only way they would loan him out is if they believe he's just not offering them anything. And they wouldn't be wrong, in my opinion, to think that. He doesn't really offer anything. The guy absolutely sucks. But to not even keep him as an option is insane. So that just tells you everything you need to know about what Clement thinks of Lammers. And I don't see any way back for Lammers unless he starts banging in hat-tricks every week at Utrecht. I'm sure this loan move is just a way to get his wages off the club's the club's wage bill at the moment, and then just get rid of the guy in the summer. That seems to be what will happen there, in my opinion. And finally, former Aberdeen Kilmarnock forward Greg Stewart is looking for a move back to Scotland. He wants to be closer to his family. He has ended his contract with Indian Super League side Mumbai City, and he could be an option for several clubs in the league. So won't cost anything. All you need to do is pay the wages. Greg Stewart, I mean, could that be something that Livingston would be looking at? We know Davy Martindale is talking about how he needs to keep them up. He needs to shop. He needs to look in the bargain bins. He's in pre-market right now. Well, Greg Stewart would be free. Just pay his wages and you can have Greg Stewart. So I think that would maybe be a good option for Livingston. There's like a no risk. You know, they could sign him end of the season maybe. 1 year deal. Is what it is. Take a chance. If they stay up, then keep them. If they don't, then release them. Put some sort of release clause in there. I think Livingston should take that chance. Greg Stewart wants to return to Scotland. Livingston need goals. It just makes sense to me. So if I was Livingston, I'd take a chance on Greg Stewart. Anyway, hopefully we have more news on these transfers tomorrow, and we will catch you in the next one. But until then, Beanfog Football, thanks for watching. Rangers, if you want Shankland, then you've got to pay the money. It's as simple as that. No more cheapies, no more freebies, no more stealing players for Scottish Premiership sides for peanuts. You've got to pay the big bucks. That's it, guys. Catch you in the next one. Peace.